Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Drag or Dracilia, however you want to say it. You guys have been asking a lot of questions about Succession, Waking, about skill builds, skill add-ons, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just here to talk about it a little bit. I'm not gonna go too in-depth each and every skill because it's gonna be a very long video if I do that. And also there's a couple guides that I'll be talking about so that you can go and see them since it's easier. So let's start with Awakening since I'm already in the mood. Let's go to the skills. Dark Split, everybody have it, max out. Fine. Love Darkness, you can max it out. Absolute Dark Split, no, you don't need it. Sinister Energy, like level 2, yeah, level 2. Absolute Darkness, if you can max it out just for the more magic debuff, it's better. Like on level 1 you get -5, level 2 you get -10, and level 3 -15. You don't need the absolute, but for sure get this one because you'll be using it for PvE later. That way, no, I don't get that one unless I'm in Succession, but we'll talk about that later. Darkness release, I get level 2 just for the pushback. Yeah, pretty much that. The rebound Darkness. Backstab, nope, don't get it. If you want to, you can get it. I don't get it because I literally don't use it and it kind of gets in the way sometimes. Sharp Nails, yeah, should have it. I don't know why I don't have it, but yeah, I get that. Let's go next. Midnight Stinger, you want to max everything out of it. Midnight Stinger, Guilty Functions, Ultimate Midnight Stinger, Eruption Guild, and Absolute, of course, because it's more damage and stuff. Rushing Crow, yes, max it out. Absolute Rushing Crow too. A bit of extra damage. Dark. So I usually just get this one to level 2 and then just go straight to Dark Flame here to max the Dark Flame out. Get the Absolute, is a lot of damage. It helps a lot. You don't need to max out Claws of Darkness though. Crow Flare, just max it out. Get it all basically if you can. Or just aim to like get it all. Even the absolute ones. Just for the extra damage. Mark Shadow, you don't really need it. You can get it for the memes, I guess. That's usually where people get it. Or get a couple just for like attracting mobs when you're doing PvE or something like that. But other than that, it's not, you don't really use it for anything. Shadow Eruption, yes, max it out completely. Get the absolute too. Oh, Abyssal Flame, no, not really, unless you're in Succession. Don't get it at all. If you're an Awakening, don't get it unless you wanna like do it for the memes. But for some reason in Awakening it kind of gets in the way, and when you're like moving around, it's sometimes when you do the Dark Flame, yeah, just like that, it just like pops into Abyssal Flame for some reason. I don't know why that happens when on Awakening mode only. It's bizarre, but I don't know. Weird game mechanics, I guess. So I just don't get anything and unlock it if I'm on Awakening. Signs of Agony, you can keep it on level 2. Just every now and then you just throw it for the lols, I guess. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It could save your life someday. Just keep it in the bag, basically. Doom of Doom, of course, must have. Max it out. Imminent Doom, yes. An absolute body contract, you don't need it at all. If you want to get it, fine. If you have the skill points for it, get it. I don't get it because I don't need it, I don't use it. Sinister Omen, yeah, forget about the skill, just don't even look at it, that doesn't exist. Low Kick, max it. High Kick too. Shadow Kick and Scattering Shadow, this is the more important one that you have to get. This one is huge. Try to get absolute if you can, when you can, for a couple reasons. You use it on a combo usually and it gives you like a nice magic buff. This one is a must have. Scattering Shadow. Nightcrow, yes, you'll be getting all of this maxed out. Nightcrow, Crow Food, Ultimate Nightcrow, Storming Crow too. max it out. Shard of Darkness, of course, you gotta get it maxed out so you get the full AP 20 plus 20 AP of Shard Explosion. Get it? It's something that you might use someday when you're like in a sticky situation, you don't have any other skill to do or use. Spirit Absorption, yeah, just get it, just so you get extra fragments of darkness, which are these little things here. Really see them much. Your max attack is 30. If you have 30, you get 20 AP up when you press Q. And also, so the Spirit Absorption is for when you hit someone, you get charged, as you can see. That regens them. You can use a couple things to regen chart, especially now. There's a lot of things that do it, so that's not much of a worry, sort, at least in my opinion. Dark Drake, of course, get it, must have, and get used to using it too, because sometimes you have it and sometimes you don't use it, and actually it's a good habit to learn to use it more often than not. The evasion roll, you should lock it, just lock it, because it gets in the way when you're out of stamina, so you do that weird roll. Shield of Darkness, max it out as your DP buff. All of this is pretty basic, so generic stuff that most of the classes just max out anyways. So going now to Awakening skills, you're pretty much gonna max it all out. Everything. Green Reaper, Shadow Leap, of course, Cartoon's Protection, that's your block. Bile Plan, it gets in the way sometimes of my combos. It looks cool, but I don't use it at all, so no. If you want to, that's optional. So Dead Hunt, yes, max it out. Violation, max it out. Green Reaper, of course. Turn backslash, Cartoon Sniper, not essential, but either way, someday you'll get them. And you'll use them maybe, or not, like me. Some sorts use them a lot and they're pretty good at it. I don't. I never practice with them. I should, but I don't, because I'm a pleb. So yeah, you'll get them. So anyways, the flow. If you're getting the blades, of course, shoot for the flow. Always get it, since it's gonna make the blades actually useful in PvP. Without this, you pretty much just wait it out and don't even use them, because it's not gonna do a lot if you don't have the flow. Throw them like that. That's basically it, the flow. So you throw the blade, you aim to someone, shift space, and then just throw it at them. Rushing Crow, you could get it. I know some sorts that just don't get it and use basically the main one here, which is right here, this one. Basically the same thing, but without the sight. I use it mostly because I do for my movement skills, as I just got used to like using the Russian Crow with the sight. Other than that, this one is optional if you want to get it or not. It's gonna work either way. It's not gonna really matter. If you get used to it and use it really well, one or the other, it doesn't matter. It's optional. That's the cool thing about Sword. You can kind of make it basically your own for us. Yeah. That's Russian Crow. Nightmare, of course, you gotta get it. And the flow too. It's really useful. The flow, though, you have to be level 60, so you have to get there to get it. Soul Harvest, you should use it sometimes if you like need shards, fragments of darkness. I mean, maybe use them. If you use them, you don't have Dark Trade. I usually just try and block and press space and hold left mouse button and just keep going. That's like a 4-second cooldown, 3-second cooldown, yeah. And you just keep going, you keep getting charts for it when the cooldown. So there, you get 30 charts again. So it's like a quick way to get a couple charts and keep going. Maybe, I don't know, they save you and they give you an extra iframe, who knows. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the skill build that I use in Awakening. So my skill add-ons for Awakening. This is basically what I use. At least for the Awakening part, I put turn backslash for all accuracy plus 4% and inflict 50 bleeding damage. The Green Reaper, casting speed plus 10%. This one I just can't kind of live without for some reason. It really, like, you notice it when you get it. This one, the plus 10%. And I do inflict 45 pain damage. Violation, I put accuracy plus for inflict 45 pain damage. You can see that pretty much all of them have inflict damage for X amount of seconds. That's kind of like a standard that I try to keep. I don't know if it's like something that you should do, but it's something that I do. You're free to like mix and match and try new stuff. I should have Absolute Darkness instead of Crow Flare here, but when I swapped from Succession, I forgot to swap it out, so it's the Crow Flare. I don't use that though unless I'm in Succession. The other one that I always have is Shadow Eruption, Casting Speed, and Inflict Damage Pain 56 poison damage. And Dream of Doom, inflict 70 burn damage and instantly recover 30 mana per hit. This one's pretty good if you do PvE. It depends on you and the way you want to play. This all could change. Mostly the PvP skills are gonna be Dream of Doom and Absolute Darkness. So yeah, that's pretty much it on skill add-ons for Awakening mode. So a couple things about Awakening. There's a couple skills that's really beneficial if you bound them to some key or in your mouse or in your keyboard. Preferably your mouse if that's comfortable for you, or I don't know, it could be the keyboard too. You want to hotbar Carton's Protection. This one is it's pretty good. I have it bound to my mouse key. It's number 5, which is this one over here, which just says number 8, but it's number 5 in the game. Don't worry about it. And that's because number 5 is actually bound to my iframe, my WW iframe actually. So instead of pressing WW twice, it's bounded to mouse key. And it pretty much is the same, and it's the must-have hotbar bound key that you always should have with Sword. That's pretty much like a standard. Doesn't matter what video you watch, they'll probably tell you that. So another thing that I hotkey is the Scattering Shadow, which is this kick. This is the kick that you actually use for the buff, which is the magic accuracy rate plus 6%. And you also use it on a combo, but you don't have to like press it, or the bound key just kind of does it automatically. So yeah, you could CC with it. It's a very strong kick. You can use it for the memes too. You can just keep going. There's another thing that you hotkey. Well, you don't have to hotkey, but I do hotkey it. It's the Dark Trade. Actually, you do have to hotkey Dark Trade. I'm a noob because it doesn't have a key to actually do it, if I'm not mistaken. If I can find it on this up here, yeah, you do have to hotkey it. Well, the Scattering Shadow, I have it bound to my sensitivity keys on the mouse, which are here. On my mouse at least. If you don't have them, then just find somewhere else that is comfortable for you. For me, on the mouse, sensitive key is the Scattering kick, and down is the Dark Trade. And that's pretty much it. That's the things that I hotkey that you probably should hotkey it. Even the kick, just to get the buff. There you go, 3 buff. So another thing that I do like to do, and that you should probably do if you can and want to. I'm not obligating you to do it, but it's kind of useful. You could block the 100% of the Carton's Protection. That's the big ball thing when you do the side block. This. Like that. So just block it because it's not useful anymore. I blocked the Dream of Doom 100%, at least for Awakening. I just keep unlocked the Green Reaper, which is huge. This one you should have unlocked all the time. Carton's Nightmare, those are 200%, so they don't really get in the way. Violation, I block it. Sometimes it could get in the way when you're doing your normal violation, and it kind of slows it down, so you never know. So I just lock it. Turn backslash, I keep it unlocked. I don't use it too much because I don't usually get it down too much. Some people are pretty good at it. I don't. I'm trying to do the instant turn backslash, which is like that, but with the BSR. So I usually don't get it. It's easier if you do like normal without the cancel, like that. And there you get with the instant one. That was kind of like 1 in a million for me. Some people have it down really good and can pull it off all the time. It's kind of huge if you get it, but you might want to practice it a lot, and I don't do that very often. But anyways, you keep it there just in case. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. If you want to go and see much more PvP in-depth guide thing, there is this guide that is really good. Go watch it. It's gonna explain it a lot better than me, and it's gonna cover a lot more than I will in this video. Okay, so time for Succession. Pretty much Succession skills are pretty much the same as Awakening. The only thing is that you obviously are not gonna be able to use the absolute ones. You'll have to use the prime ones. You're gonna want to max everything out on the Succession, which will be the prime ones. Pretty much every prime skill, you're gonna max it out. Obviously, all the stuff. Sure, why not? So why not? Yeah, pretty much the same thing as Awakening. The only difference is that you're gonna go down on the absolutes, and you're gonna be using prime skills, which are the Succession ones. And obviously you're gonna use absolute Abyssal Flame now, which you previously didn't use, but now you will. Kill add-ons, Abyssal Flame, movement speed -7%, inflict damage 60, burn damage. Absolute Darkness, that's mostly for PvE, but sometimes you could use it if you have time in PvP, so why not? Casting speed 7% and critical hit rate plus 30%, which this one is the huge one. This one is the one you want to get for PvE. Turn back slash, I just use pretty much, it's the same as Awakening. All accuracy plus 4% and inflict 50 bleeding damage. And normal skills are the same ones as before. I don't change too much because I like to use what I know works and what works for me. So I just keep it mostly the same all the time. So for the skills that I keep an eye for my cooldowns on Succession, I do the Abyssal Flame, Rushing Crow, Shadow Eruption, and Engulfing Shadow, and Shadow Ignition, Dream of Doom. This is the instant Dream of Doom cooldown, and this is the normal Dream of Doom cooldown, and Bloody Calamity. And I have here on the side Crow Flare, and I do Shield of Darkness to keep an eye on that too, because I don't usually use the cold bar here. I don't use that, I just turn it off. So I just keep my main skills that I want to keep an eye on, I just keep them on the screen all the time. So why you see it like double here, because now this one is also hotkey, which I have it on my mouse key right here. It's number 2. So sometimes I use it on the hotkey on the mouse, or sometimes I just use it on the keyboard, like the normal casting keys, which actually Shift R for me because I changed it, was a bit more comfortable. And I have Abyssal Vanguard, which is the E buff basically. I have it on number 5, which would be the block one for the Awakening. So a couple things that I want to point out about Succession is that you really want to keep an eye out on your stamina. As pretty much all of you have noticed, you run out of stamina a lot. So as I said on my previous video that I try to talk a bit about it, just manage your skills pretty well, or try to at least. Remember that you can use Dark Flame a bit to like regain a bit of stamina. But let me see if I can show it to you. Okay. See, it's regaining stamina when you do the animations. So just hold it a bit so you can regen a bit. Maybe it's like, I don't know, like one iframe maybe, who knows. Yoink. So another thing that I want to point out, get used to using your Crow Flare. You're gonna use it a lot. The main skill rotation that I use to kind of move around a bit when I have to, like, I don't know, just wait it a bit. You don't know. Well, depends on where you are, right? If you're in RBF, then you don't know if there's like a ninja around you or something like that. So you wanna like keep moving a bit. So I usually just do like an iframe, maybe 2, and do the flip, because I leave on the edge, I guess. And do dark flame bed, crow flare, iframe, dark flame and hold it a bit, crow flare. I don't do it too much, but I do it like a little bit just to keep moving a bit. And I've noticed that I said a bit like a lot. I'm sorry. So anyways, that's what I do most of the time. If you wanna cover a fair bit of a distance, jeez, sorry dude. Sir, please stop. I'm trying to make a video here, please. Sir. Thank you. Bye. Oh, he's mad. Oops. So yeah, that's a pretty good example about running away. If you want to do that, that's basically what I do. Pretty much Russian crow, iframe on the side. And you could either do Russian crow, look a bit to the side, iframe, and then do another iframe, or you could do some sort of variation, like look on the side, midnight stinger too, or just look on the side, do double iframe and do darkness release, and keep your left mouse button pressed so you go a bit faster. As you can see, if I let it go, it's kind of a bit slower. Press it down, it's a bit faster. It's a nice tip. So another thing that I've been asked about is about the HP and the pots. When you're in succession, maybe you consume a lot of mana, or you can't like heal or anything like while you're fighting because you gotta press a lot of keys and stuff. And I get it, it's kind of difficult since you're doing like a lot of things in succession and try to keep on moving because you basically have no block, so you gotta compensate for it by just keep moving on and iframing all over the place like a monkey. The best thing that you can do, and I really encourage you to get, is a fairy with Miraculous Shear 5. I really encourage you to get it, even if that's the only skill you have. Try and get it, and it's gonna save you like the trouble of it basically. But if you can't, if you don't have good RNG, or you just can't pay for it, because you can if you want to, you get this. If it's only one skill, you just keep resetting it, reset till you get it if you have the money for it. If not, then just try to hotkey them to something that you're really comfortable with and just keep experimenting with your keyboard or mouse. So my crystals that I use basically is what you see here. Bell cards on my Kasarka, corrupted crystals from the talisman. The armor, I just use RBF ones, Vex, nice. Vipers, Organs, Histria, Gaia, Harpia. Yeah, that's pretty much what I use. I don't specifically have played around with crystals a lot. So another thing that I want to point out is maybe if you have an outfit or maybe you have critical hit +4, let's say for example, you have +4 and you want to get to +5. There's like a cheeky way to get there with the outfits. You just basically buy one of these ones on the marketplace that it says item effect critical hit +1. You get one of the equipment tailoring coupons. There's quite a bit on the marketplace. You just put it there and confirm. You're gonna be able to basically use it as a skin if you want to. Yeah, basically put it as an outfit, but that's not why we want it. We are actually, let's see if I can find my outfit. Oh, there it is. So we're basically gonna melt it. I know it sounds odd, but yeah, we're gonna melt it. And what you'll get from it is a crystal, basically. Whatever still. Yep, there he goes. You get a crystal. And that crystal is critical hit +1. So the thing that you need to get it into this outfit, you're gonna have to give it like a slot for the crystal. And you do that by going to enhance, put the outfit in, and you put one of this ones, the Black Spirit Claws. And bam. Just go for it. And you get the Black Spirit Claws from and this one's here. You need 3 of them together, and you get one of the other Black Spirits. Yeah, you get the full thing basically. And now when you like hover over it, you can see that it says empty slot for a crystal. Now you go basically just like the regular weapon stuff. Transfusion, choose that one. You got the outfit, crystal, add it, and bam, that's it. You have a cheeky +1 crit now. Another thing about Succession that I personally use a lot is a way to actually lock the BSR. You know, you have to press Alt and V to do it. Since my keyboard, as you can see, has extra keys, I just created like a sort of a small macro, I guess, and I just do it with that. I can control it a bit better when I want to use it, when I don't want to use it. Just lock, unlock, pretty much it. I can get in, unlock it, do it quick, then lock it again if you want. It's handy. If you can do it on your keyboard, or maybe you have extra mouse keys that you're not using, you can do it too. It's all up to you, but it's kind of a thing that I really use in Succession. It helps a lot when you don't want to like accidentally use your 100% or something like that. Something to keep in mind though, even if it's locked, the BSR, you can use the Rage Absorption skill, which is this one over here. So you don't have to like unlock it and lock it to get the buff. Just like another extra thing to keep in mind. Another thing that I use a lot is the Patrigio's Apparel bag. These ones are just the loyalty ones. This one right here. And I use it a lot sometimes when I'm like in sticky situations. Maybe I just V or something like that. Like hide in a place and I don't have my ghillie on, so I just pop it real quick when I get out, and that hides my name. Maybe they don't see me, maybe they're blind and they don't look at the map and they don't see me, so it could save you sometimes too. So even though there's a couple guides out there that show you how to combo and stuff, I'm gonna show you real quick what I mostly use or try to keep my combos around. I usually do Midnight Stinger, Shadow Eruption, Shadow Ignition, and from there it depends on the situation. Like if you see your opponent takes damage, then you go in for the Midnight Stinger, Shadow Eruption, Shadow Ignition, turn back slash, like a violation turnaround. You don't have to do that. I do it because I got used to it from Awakening, so that's not really efficient to do, but it's what I do, so I'm just showing it to you. But mostly goes around Midnight Stinger, Shadow Eruption, Shadow Ignition. That's pretty much the basic 3 skills that I always try and use. Another thing, if it's like a range opponent, I try to iframe and just use a Russian Crow into them. Just get the CC. Let's try it on this one. When I get the CC, I instantly go for the Midnight Stinger, Shadow Eruption, Shadow Ignition type of combo thing. Sometimes it's not efficient. Well, at least most of the times it works for me. But yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Just do that. Let's do the whole thing. In range, you could use Abyssal Flame in Succession, stun, and it's also quite a bit of damage. To cancel it, you just iframe and do the left and right mouse button. It's pretty easy. Either side it works, backwards, forwards, any direction basically works. So another thing that I do sometimes when I see that my opponent doesn't get a lot of damage when I attack them, when I do the Midnight Stinger, Shadow Eruption, Shadow Ignition part, I start by trying to get another CC on them, and when I get it, I do the same thing. Midnight Stinger, Shadow Eruption, Shadow Ignition, I go Absolute Darkness and throw the Chart Explosion to them, and you can cancel that with Engulfing Shadow. Don't use the hotkey when you use Chart Explosion because it takes a bit longer. This is Shadow Explosion with Engulfing Shadow, not hotkey. So you can see, pretty fast. And this is Chart Explosion and Engulfing Shadow hotkey. So you can see, kind of joke a little bit. It's not too bad, but if you see them side by side, like now, you can see that one is faster than the other. So if you're using it with Chart Explosion, don't use the hotkeys for the Engulfing Shadow. Just use the regular NodeWars. So the problem with Succession, in my opinion, is that you need to compensate for not having a block. As I said multiple times in a couple comments, you need DP, which I don't have, as you can see. Like, that's not enough. It's not enough to compensate the block that I'm missing. So when I'm doing NodeWars, I'm either half the time just iframing around, trying to play with, you know, my team much as I can. I can't like solo too much as I could with Awakening, so I end up playing around my team a bit more. So it's easier for me just to go in Awakening, get in, get a couple kills, and then go out. In Succession, it's a lot harder because the only thing you have is super armor, a couple iframes if you have enough stamina, but you're gonna run out of it eventually. So you have to use some skills that are basically either unsafe or they just have super armor, which is if they have enough AP, they're just gonna melt you. So it's hard to say it. It's hard to say if one is better than the other two. Like, can't say Succession is better than Awakening. I also can't say that Awakening is better than Succession because, well, you could use both and you can get kills too. Like, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's all about what you're enjoying and what's giving you like the most fun times. It doesn't really matter. Like, if you feel going Succession, go for it. Doesn't matter. If you feel Awakening, go for Awakening. Like, if you're having fun, just keep at it. Don't feel obligated to go a certain like mode just because it's like it's the meta or some other big YouTuber or Twitch guy has it on or use it. You know, don't feel obligated. You do whatever you want. Feel free to go Awakening or Succession. You know, yeah, the point is just to have fun. Like, that's the beauty of it. You can do pretty much whatever you want. A sword is just like a white canvas, basically. You can make it your own. You can do whatever weird combination of stuff, and maybe it works for you, but not for someone else. So it's hard sometimes to like share something with you because it's something that works for me, but I don't know if it's gonna work for you. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Hopefully it does, but you know. So I try to keep it pretty basic when I do these things because maybe it's not gonna work for you as it does for me. That's the bottom line of it. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. If I left anything that you wanted to know about and I didn't talk about it, please leave it in the comments below. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe if you want to, and hopefully they never find your sword gaps in battle. See ya.